This is Dave with Taboo Customs. This video today is going to cover a 1-year review of our Wright CNC plasma table, as well as cover some of the modifications that we've made to the plasma table and some of the tips that we have once you start looking at purchasing a plasma table. We actually spent a couple of years looking at plasma tables and researching and getting quotes and doing different things, and we finally determined there were several factors that we had to have on our table. One, we wanted a smaller table because the main purpose of this table is for prototyping parts, and we didn't really have the structure in place to also handle 4x8 sheets, and so we went with a 5x5 Wright CNC table so that we did have a little bit extra space to be able to cut a little bit larger parts than 4x4. However, most of the time we're cutting 4x4 sheets on this. Now we have cut several thousand parts on our table, so we do have pretty good experience with the table over this last year. Now the main things we were looking for on the table was torch height control, a rack and pinion type setup and not a belt type setup, and then the price of the table as well. You needed something that was fairly low price because we're a small business, and like I said, we're really just using this to prototype parts. The other thing it also came with is it came with all the software needed to run it. It came with Mach 3, it came with Sheet Cam here, and it also came with a small CAD system. And we don't really use that QCAD because we mainly use SolidWorks. However, it came with all this software. One additional piece of software though that we did add was we added something called Joy to Key. Now this Joy to Key software, and the purpose behind it is so that you can actually use a joystick to control the machine. What this does is it emulates if you were to hit the right button on your keyboard, you can do the same thing on your joystick now, and it basically maps it out to that keyboard button. So as you go over, and you can take this and you can now move the machine wherever you want. Very helpful if you're trying to, say, cut a small piece out of the middle or somewhere, or if you're for us, we will zero off of the front left corner of our material, so it's easier to walk over there and line it up, and you can move it around up and down. You cannot start the machine from it, which I kind of wish you could, but we've never figured out really how to do that. So that is one good addition that you might think about adding if you do look at getting a plasma table. This is basically just a PlayStation 3 controller, wireless, and then that Joy to Key software. The other big thing that we ended up running into right away when we purchased our Wright CNC table was we found that our air system was very inadequate. We had a large compressor, but it was basically a large consumer compressor. It was not an industrial compressor. At the beginning, over the first month or so, we had some issues with air pressure, and especially when there was a few people in here trying to work, we would have issues with anyone else trying to run anything that took any air. So we did have to upgrade our air system. So if you're planning on getting a table, make sure you have an adequate air system to make sure you'll keep up with the table, because it will take a lot of air, especially if you plan to cut a lot of parts in a row. You know, for us, we will typically cut maybe half a sheet and then stop, but that's partially due to consumables. Now, before, with that air system, we had to only cut a couple of pieces, stop, let the air system kind of catch up, and then cut some more pieces. So make sure you have a decent, good quality air system. Right now we've got a 2-stage compressor, 3/4 inch max line running throughout the shop. We also installed a dryer because keeping your air dry is very important. And then in addition to that, we also installed an additional filter just before the plasma cutter, and a gauge so that we could troubleshoot any issues we were having if we did run into issues with our system. So back to the Wright CNC machine. Here is our torch height controller. Now, one thing we did do also with this, and one issue we had, is the torch height controller had a small switch that was in line. That switch actually went bad, but it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, because then we tied this switch in with our fans for our downdraft table, and the machine will not run unless the torch height controller is on, so it kind of forces us to make sure that our fans for our downdraft table are on too. So before we get into some of the issues we've had with our table, let me first say that we do like our Wright CNC table. If we had to go back and purchase a table again, we'd go back and purchase the same table. There's some lessons learned. I wish we would have learned her a little bit faster, but we are happy with our table, and we think that the quality and versus the cost and everything, and it was right in line. There was, however, one major issue we did have with the table that concerns the design of the table, and that has to do with the water table. Now, with this water table, we had a green cut solution in the water table, and what we would have a lot of times is whenever we would go down and start to cut on our parts, this sensor here would not work. So what happens is this torch goes down, it touches off the material, it basically comes off of that switch, which tells the machine that it's hitting the material. However, sometimes that switch wouldn't work, and it would continue to try to drive the torch into the material until we hit the E-stop. What we found was the water that was splashing back was getting on this switch and actually causing the switch to go bad. And over several weeks, we actually replaced several of these switches. Pretty much every week, we would replace a switch until we finally decided, okay, well, maybe we need to look at going away from that water table, and that's how we decided to design our downdraft table, which we'll cover a little bit later in the video here. So that was really the only major issue we had. Once we went away from the water table, we didn't have any issues. We've actually been running on that same switch now for about 8 months. So we've never had any more failures of that. The other things that we are maybe more of annoyances or more minor issues is I kind of wish the torch holder was a two-pronged holder instead of a one clamp holder. I've thought about, and I've contacted Wright to talk to him a little bit about this, but I haven't pursued it that much. I'd like to actually try to design a two-clamp holder to hold this, because the torch can wiggle and can move a little bit. Now, we haven't seen any issues with our part cut quality because of that, I don't think. I mean, we've seen a little bit of steps in maybe 1 out of 500 parts, but it's hard telling what could actually cause that. There are several issues that could cause it. The other minor issue that we've also had is you can kind of see on the rail here. Now, as we've used this machine over the last year, it started to wear off the powder coat here, and that's to be expected. So it's one of the things that as we've used the machine, we've tried to take a scraper and try to take some of that off. Now, I can't say that we've seen any major issues because of it, but like I said, every now and then we do have a little bit of a step in a part, so we don't know exactly what has caused that, but it could be that it's maybe building up some of that paint. Beyond that, really, the table has performed very well. The rack and pinion has held up great. We actually used it for just over a year before we really had to go in there and adjust the backlash on the rack and pinion, so everything there was good. And for the most part, I mean, we're cutting mostly 1/8 inch material, 7 gauge material, 1/4 inch material, some 3/8, and for all of that material, it's really performed great. Now, I will say that we did decide to go with a good plasma cutter. We're using a Hypertherm PowerMax 65. The reason for that was we wanted to make sure we didn't have any issues with the cut quality and trying to cut some of those thick materials as well. In going away from the water table, we had to design a downdraft table. So we designed our own downdraft table, and with that we used a design that basically had a drop and then a slant, and then dropping into a larger center section so that we can kind of collect most of the material in that center section, so it's a little bit easier for us to clean out. We've got opening on both ends of the hopper so that we can take a broom at the end and push all that material out after we probably shovel out the heaviest parts of it, but then we can really try to get most of it cleaned out. One thing we've had to contend with as we created the system was all of the dust that the plasma system creates. You'd be amazed at the amount of this fine black dust that it does create, and this is what's really causing a lot of sludge in the bottom of your water table, is a lot of this combining with the water. So obviously with the downdraft table we have to account for that, because we have to count how we pull it through our system. Now, I will admit that whenever I designed our system, I didn't account for it enough, and I wish I designed a collection system, and eventually here we probably will design a collection system, because at the beginning we had some issues with our motors getting gummed up because of that fine dust going actually through the electric motor. Since then we've created a different system for pulling that material out, where we can pull fresh air through the motor, and the rest of the air with the dust is just going around through the fan, so we don't have an issue with that anymore. Now, when we did do the calculations on our table, we figured we needed about 3,000 CFM to adequately pull the smoke from the table without trying to exhaust it into the shop at all. So with that, we've actually been using HVAC squirrel cage fans from heating systems throughout old homes. We've designed some boxes to hold those fans, and those fans do a pretty good job of actually pulling the smoke out from underneath the table. Each one of those fans, we've figured roughly 1,200 to 1,500 CFM, and throughout the year, throughout this winter, we've actually cut a lot of parts with our doors closed and had no issues with smoke here in the shop. So one thing we did have to do is, another area that we learned is that we wanted to make sure that the hose was big enough. We started out with a 6-inch hose, and we didn't think it was quite big enough. Once we went from that 6-inch hose to an 8-inch hose going to those fans and up out of the shop here, it pulls enough air to really keep everything pretty well clean. So here in a minute we'll cut some parts and we'll show you how that works and how you can see how some of the smoke gets pulled back down into the system. Now, one thing we also have to mention here that we missed is that when we are using this system, we do have to cover the large open areas that to help increase the efficiency of the downdraft table. Not uncommon for people that have downdraft tables. For us, we use weld blankets, and it works pretty well. You can fold these weld blankets; they're not going to catch fire. Now, we could really only probably cover up 3/4 of the table, and it would still pull the smoke fairly well, and we'll show you that here in a minute. A couple more quick things before we cut apart here. One thing I noticed when we're doing research on the downdraft tables, a lot of people talked about sucking air out of their shops, sucking the heat out of their shops. I will say that we haven't really noticed our system sucking the heat out of our shop. In general, the system creates a lot of heat itself, so I think it probably put some more heat back into it. Obviously now we're sucking a lot of that out with our system. What we have noticed though is the side that our system exits on is the side we typically get wind from here, and we've noticed a draft through the piping, through the plumbing for that system, so we ended up having to switch to a shutter type exit on that side of the building to keep that wind from blowing cold air through the system and into the shop. So you do have to be aware of that. So we're getting ready to cut some parts here, so you can see we've covered up. Now typically when we're cutting parts, we'll try to just leave those parts in there if we're cutting a lot of parts, so that they cover up the material themselves. But because we had a large skeleton here, we've covered up most of that. But you can see I left quite a bit of it open here, so that you can see that we won't get a whole lot of smoke, and the smoke that does come out of here will be sucked back in pretty quick. So let's go ahead and cut apart. And these first few holes here won't create a lot of smoke. It'll really create a lot of smoke when it cuts the perimeter.
can see in here how all that smoke that starts to come out is actually just sucked back down and into the table.
Thanks for watching. That does it for our video here covering the Wright CNC plasma table. Hopefully it helped you out. Like I said, we have been happy with our table. I think a lot of the issues we've had would have been, any other table we probably would have had other issues. Based on the price we spent, we've been really happy with it, and it's done a good job for us. You can see the parts we do cut. They do come out pretty good. It's normal that you're going to have to clean the slag off the top and the bottom, but really a lot of that's a function of how well you have your cut parameters set. You can see here, and it's cut a really pretty clean part. There is no jogs, and one of the nice things about it is with the sheet cam software, you have a pretty good lead in and lead out, so your lead in and lead out really isn't too noticeable there. So we are really happy with the table, with the quality we've been able to produce with it. So if you do have any questions, your comments, you can get a hold of us at our website or on Facebook, taboocustoms.com. And as always, if you liked the video and if it helped you out, a like or subscribe would be greatly appreciated. Thanks.